This is a reading from the 5th chapter of 1 Thessalonians. But you, brothers and sisters, are not in darkness, so that this day should surprise you like a thief. You are all children of the light and children of the day. We do not belong to the night or to the darkness. So then, let us not be like others who are asleep, but let us be awake and sober. For those who sleep, sleep at night, and those who get drunk at night. But since we belong to the day, let us be sober, putting on faith and love as a breastplate and the hope of salvation as a helmet. For God did not appoint us to suffer wrath, but to receive salvation through our Lord Jesus Christ. He died for us so that, whether we are awake or asleep, we may live together with him. Therefore, encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. And I have a second reading from the letters of George Fox. Sing and rejoice, you children of the day and the light, for the Lord is at work in this thick night of darkness that may be felt. Truth does flourish as the rose. The lilies do grow among the thorns. The plants atop of the hills, and upon them the lambs do skip and play. Never heed the tempests nor the storms, floods or rains, for the seed, Christ, is over all and does reign. And so be of good faith and valiant for the truth. For the truth can live in the jails. Fear not the loss of the fleece, for it will grow again. And follow the Lamb, if it be under the beast's horns or under the beast's heels, for the Lamb shall have the victory over them all. In Sunday school lately, we've been talking about how the early Christians prosecuted by the Roman Empire went underground, sometimes quite literally, to hide from the empire, which was persecuting them, and yet by their way of life still spread their message about the power of God's love. And we have been thinking about the inundating, irresistible power of Niagara Falls and the cave behind it, the Cave of the Winds, as a metaphor for what it would be like to live in an empire with the inundating power of carelessness and cruelty, and to try to create an outpost of kindness and care. So in this image, you have a colony of people, we will say they are Christians, living in community in the Cave of the Wind, but how will they spread their message of light, their enactment of love, out beyond the boundaries of that cave? And we have considered that the groundhogs that Fairview Meeting has not been able to displace from the basement may be showing us the way. One of the reasons it is difficult to evict groundhogs is because they have so many different tunnels leading away from their main chamber. And some of these tunnels have exits at least a quarter of a mile or further from the burrow. So we have been talking about this Christian colony in the Cave of the Winds, with Niagara Falls thundering at the entrance, but with tunnels leading away from the cave, allowing passage into the world of empire. Then the question becomes, what will these incognito Christians do in the world of empire to begin to light the darkness? I had a small interaction at work this week that at most times I may not even have noticed, but somehow this week seemed significant to me. Someone asked me for a sampling of pictures to use in a presentation she was giving, and I was able to assemble them by the end of the day, upload them to the cloud for her to access, and she wrote me an email that night or the next morning saying, "Thanks, Dan, these are great." And I noticed that I felt really encouraged by that. Very often, it's not possible to see the results of what I do, to know whether someone has actually been informed by something I edited or something I wrote or a picture that I made. Very often what I do for work just passes by completely unnoticed. This was just an email that said thank you. This is good work, and it increased my sense of my value, although ultimately our value is nothing more nor less than our existence as a creation of God. Still, I think that most of us experience life more positively when we feel appreciated, when we feel seen, when we feel like we are making a contribution to something greater than our own self-preservation. And the phrase "thank you," as small as it may seem, as inconsequential a formality as it may seem, it is still a way of saying to another person, I have seen you, and what you've done has been worthwhile. And I got to thinking that this very little, almost inconsequential action of saying, not something like, but precisely, thank you and good job, could in fact be the beginning of colonizing empire with love in an incognito, furtive little way. Now, it has been pointed out to me that I often speak about the role of gratitude and attention in our spiritual lives. And I am not unhappy that this is the case. I'm glad I speak about those things. But right now, that's not what I'm talking about. Because this gratitude and attention that I'm talking about right now is not to God per se, and it's not a conversation with God. It is to an individual person right next to me in physical proximity. The reason that I think thank you and good job have such potential as spreaders of love and care is because we can say them and mean them without any reference to politics or ideology or even to true and false gods. It is possible to say thank you to your worst enemy when they've done a good job waiting on your table, or teaching your child to hit a baseball in a better way. We should just say teaching your child to hit a baseball. When they change the tire on your car, when they allow you to go ahead of them in line because you have 2 items and they have 42, etc., etc. It is possible to say thank you even to someone whose ideas you cannot abide, because in fact, whether you can abide their ideas or not, what they have done has assisted you. The same thing with the phrase good job. And this is why I think these 2 particular phrases, thank you and good job, have such potential for opening up little cracks of light in the ocean of darkness. Because we can see the occasion to use them, and we can use them, and we can mean them no matter whom we are among, no matter how we would ordinarily interact with those persons. We can say them and mean them to our enemies and our friends alike. And it's a very simple thing to say thank you, good job, but it actually goes to the very core of so many of the issues in each one of our lives. The core question, does my life have meaning? Am I doing anything worthwhile? Does it matter that I exist? And when we say to someone, thank you or good job, we do an end run upon beyond everything that stands in our way of affirming that person's being. Everything that stands in the way, and we do affirm their being. We say, you do matter. Your life does have meaning. You are participating in something beyond your own survival. Fox tells us to sing and rejoice as children of the day and of the light, and that the day and the light can never be overcome by the darkness. If that is the message that we are trying to spread and make felt in our little forays out through our groundhog tunnels, I think thank you and good job are a necessary and easy way to start, full of integrity and care.